honored and very proud and very excited, actually a little nervous also, to have her with me on the show. A very special guest for this afternoon. I grew up watching her on TV. She may have been one of my idols, also one of those who tried to, maybe I got convinced to get into broadcasting because of her. Miss Tina Monzon-Palma. Hello.
Hello, thank you for inviting me here.
And
thank you,
welcome to
Janelle.
Kababayan, LA.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, you started your career in radio and then it moved on until now. You are still in broadcasting. You still host your own show. What has changed since then?
I've done work as a reporter in Channel 7, GMA Channel 7, went on to become its senior vice president for news and current affairs until 1992. And then I left and went to Channel 5, ABC Channel 5, and put it up for 7 years. And then thought that I was going to resign and retire.
Right.
And then Gina Lopez of ABS-CBN, family of ABS-CBN Broadcasting, put together a foundation that wanted to introduce Asian content in educational children's programming. And because I was the chief operating officer of Channel 5, we got our heads together and put up a conference inviting Asian educators to develop that Asian content in children's television. And that has blossomed to become a Southeast Asian Children's Television Foundation. But at that time as well, Gina Lopez put up a helpline, a child helpline, a 3-digit child helpline that responded to calls from informants who were witness or who knew of a child being abused. So that was how it started. She invited me when I had left Channel 5. She invited me to do this work in children's advocacy for children who are abused in the home setting. Yeah.
That's what I like about you. You didn't stop at delivering the news, presenting the news, or doing commentaries on the news. You wanted to really make a direct impact on children's lives.
Yes, because I thought I had left television journalism, but because ABS-CBN Foundation was just a few steps away from the ABS-CBN network.
Yeah.
And Lauren Legarda, then, who was a newscaster with Angelo Castro in The World Tonight on ABS, was running for the Senate, and so they needed a substitute, and they asked me if I could do it while she was campaigning. I said, yeah, fine, as soon as she gets back. And of course she won, so she couldn't get back.
She never got back.
She never got back, and I've stayed on with it. It was on Channel 2 until it was transferred to ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel. I do a talk show, I talk back with Tina, but for a while...
Interactive, no?
Interactive, and for a while I was doing DZMM.
Also?
I was doing radio, but it more or less, the topic and the themes were on child and family relationships.
Right.
So it suited the kind of work that I was doing for the foundation.
Is it easier for now doing the kind of work that you're doing for the foundation and also as a journalist with the emergence of social media and integrated media?
Definitely. Social media has its advantages. It gives us a pulse of what the people think. But mainly it's what the people feel. It's a very emotional kind of a feedback that you get on events that are unfolding every second. And sometimes we also get a distorted sense of what the public pulse really is.
Right.
Because you can get a very biased group of people who can just pounce on all of the social network sites and give their points of view.
Right. What about people are saying now that journalism as we know it today is not as pure because then people are getting the news from social media, from Twitter, from Facebook, so anyone can just be a journalist?
Anyone cannot be a journalist because there are things that you learned in journalism on how you come out with a story. But it has enhanced the writing and the style and the delivery of stories because of the social network component.
Right.
It gives it a sense of emotion, and which people really like when they watch a newscast.
It humanizes. Yeah.
It humanizes. You have a case study. It has the face of poverty. It has the face of a child abuse. You don't just talk about statistics. So it has some very important values as well, and I think it enhances, and maybe it makes it more acceptable and more credible to the viewer.
Right. And speaking of that, so it has changed dramatically, but does that also help in the reporting of child abuse cases in the Philippines? You mentioned that about Bantay Bata. It's something that happens, but I'm sure in those days it's not as openly talked about as we are talking about it now.
It was not talked about because this is a family-held secret, and there were no procedures, very clear procedures on how to go about in its reporting. And there was no assurance from the informant who was a witness to the abuse that she will not be held liable in a manner of speaking, or she will not at all be the witness.
Right.
She can remain anonymous
yeah.
in this whole process, and we keep the identity. Once an informant calls us, they give us the details and they give us the address, and we call the local town official, the barangay, to validate the address and the existence of this child.
And then you
or
do
this
your
family.
investigation.
We do our investigation. We've done our investigation on the phone as the informant is calling.
Okay.
It is validated. We are in partnership with the Department of Social Welfare and the Department of Interior and local government.
I think that is why very important Bantay Bata. It has pioneered, cases like this involving street kids. You have saved a lot of kids from abuse. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that when we return on Kababayan LA. Plus your phone calls. Miss Tina Monzon-Palma is going to answer those when we return. Don't go away.